Welcome to Ask Rabbit Entitled Parents. I have 3 awesome stories for you today. Let's jump right into it. This first post is titled, Entitled Parents Think They Are Entitled to Their Daughter's Medical Records to Help Them Shame Her. In healthcare, one of the most difficult things to deal with are family members of patients. They are understandably angry, upset, grieving, devastated, and often feel helpless. Most of the time, I try to understand this and not get too annoyed when family causes problems. But these parents were on another level. One of my patients was an 18-year-old woman who had a pelvic infection. She got very sick and required a moderate stay in the hospital. She was a dream patient, open, honest, and generally a lovely person. Her parents were none of these things. Every day they would come in and start demanding this, that, or the other thing from the nurses on the wards. They wanted an extra bed in the room so their mother could stay overnight. Honestly, it's COVID times. You're lucky to even be allowed to visit. In many places, no visitors are allowed. You can't stay overnight. They were rude to the student nurse who's doing their daughter's OBS to the point that the charge nurse moved the student nurse to a different set of patients to get her away from them. But when the doctors were around, they were the sweetest people you ever met, right up until we were out of sight. Or we said no to one of their requests. They were disruptive, loud, and just generally obnoxious people. Thankfully, their daughter was aware of their crappy behavior and had informed us that she didn't want them to be told anything about her condition until she approved it. She was a legal adult, so she was entitled to her privacy. This wasn't a huge issue to begin with, and she shared most of the details with them. But then their mother Googled pelvic infections and discovered that, gasp, sometimes they can be caused by STIs. As far as she was concerned, we had screwed up and gotten the diagnosis wrong because there was no way there was any possibility that her angel had even thought about having sex with a boy. They demanded to see their daughter's medical records so they could prove that we were lying about the infection. Politely telling them to screw off was the highlight of my week. Unfortunately, that wasn't the end of it. They came in the next day with legal papers trying to demand we hand over the medical records. Turns out, they lied to the lawyer because the papers were for a minor still under guardianship of parents, not a grown woman. Then they threatened to sue each of us individually. This isn't America. You can't just sue doctors randomly. Then they tried to get some crackpot alternative doctor to check her. Thankfully, the daughter screamed bloody murder when this guy tried to examine her, which resulted in me getting to watch security escort and trespass a lot of them off the premises. I honestly hope she presses charges for that. Alright, this next post is titled, My Dad Always Eats My Food, even when I was in the hospital. My father has a weird history with food and has a tendency to eat my food. A few instances stand out. First was the time I was in the hospital following a heart procedure and I was in the ICU. My dad was saying me and my mom need to lose weight. I was and am 5'3" and 110 pounds. He offered to get me food from a restaurant and I agreed. He came back with 2 withered salads for me and my mom. The hospital brought me some baked ziti and potatoes while I was getting an x-ray done. He ate my entire plate provided by the hospital and left me a salad with no topping or dressing. Another time, I had a student from work get me a pretty large fruit basket as a thank you gift. My brother and father ate the entire thing without even leaving me a grape. They never asked if they could have any. For my then boyfriend's birthday, I baked him a pie. My brother and father ate the entire thing while I was getting dressed. On my own birthday, he used to ask where I wanted to go. Thank God I haven't lived with him in years. And then he would say he didn't want to go there and would ultimately pick his own favorite place to go, even though I didn't like the places he did. He sabotaged my engagement party by canceling my reservation at a particular restaurant and changing it to a restaurant that he wanted. These are just food-related stories. I have plenty more horror stories about my abusive parents. My mom justifies everything my father has ever done and somehow blames me in every instance. Alright, I hope you guys enjoyed those first 2 stories. Before we get into the next story, if you guys could please do me a huge favor and hit that like button down below. And if you haven't already, make sure to hit that subscribe button so you never miss any future content. Alright, this next post is titled, Entitled Mom Yells at My Disabled Friend for Not Being Disabled Enough. So a few years ago, a bunch of my friends and I went to see Anastasia on Broadway. It was amazing and a ton of fun, but also led to this encounter. During intermission, a bunch of us went to get in line for the bathrooms. One of my friends, M had osteosarcoma in her leg when she was younger and as a result has a metal rod instead of her bone and walks with a noticeable limp. There was a line for disabled people and families, and M and her mom got in line. A few people behind them, an older lady was pushing like a full-body wheelchair with, I'm assuming, her severely disabled daughter. She was in the process of yelling at everyone in front of her because her daughter deserved to be at the front of the line. M's mom is not the kind to be pushed around, and she told the woman that M was disabled too and she could wait her turn. The woman went ballistic and yelled, "Your daughter is not disabled! Stop effing lying!" This went on for a bit, where the woman would yell at M for not being disabled, and M's mom would just stand her ground and tell the woman that she was not moving, that her and her daughter could just wait like everyone else. Eventually, they came out of the bathroom, and M was in tears at that point. M is one of the sweetest people that I know, and there's no way that she deserved to be yelled at for not being disabled, when she doesn't even have a bone in one of her legs because they removed it because of cancer. Alright, that's going to wrap up today's Entitled Parents video. I hope you guys enjoyed those 3 stories. If you did, definitely hit that like button down below. Leave a comment letting me know what your favorite story was today. Make sure to hit subscribe so you never miss any future videos. I hope you all have a great rest of your day, and I'll see you guys next time.